Okay, think about like a big football match, yeah. 90 minutes, everyone's totally glued to the screen. You know the feeling.
Uh-huh.
Intense.
Right. Now imagine that same 90 minutes, that same kind of intense focus, but it's not a game. It's the countdown to a murder, a really calculated one.
It's a stark contrast, definitely.
And that's what happened. Late Wednesday afternoon, here in Nairobi, some people were watching Arsenal, maybe Man United playing, but this other, darker drama was unfolding.
Yeah, and today that's what we're diving into, the murder of Charles Angondo, where the MP for Kasipul, a really shocking event.
It happened somewhere normal, too. Kamathi Street, late
Oh, yeah.
afternoon, just a regular restaurant, people milling about.
And not far away, Parliament's in session. They're debating the 2025 finance bill. Pretty heated stuff, I imagine. Speaker Wetangula is presiding.
Yeah, the usual proceedings. But what's not usual is what was happening in that restaurant, these two guys.
Right, the observers. Exactly. They weren't really eating, not talking much, just watching Charles wear. And somehow they knew exactly when Parliament would wrap up that finance bill debate, like down to the minute Wetangula finished the division.
That level of timing is, well, it's incredibly precise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Suggests serious planning. They knew his schedule.
And then there's this other odd detail. Usually the bodyguard sits up front in the passenger seat, right? Standard protocol.
Uh-huh.
But this time, Charles Wurr sits there himself. Bodyguards in the back. You'd think that might throw off an attacker.
You would, yeah. Create some confusion, maybe?
But no, when the attack happened, the shooter knew precisely where to aim. Front left seat. It's chilling.
That's one of the first big questions, isn't it? How did they know? With that last-minute change, inside Parliament's security zone, how were they so sure?
It points to some serious intel gathering.
Definitely. Raises questions about who might have been feeding them information.
Okay, so let's follow the movements. They leave Parliament buildings, head down City Hallway onto Warburg Street, and the CCTV there catches something important.
The bodyguard steps out briefly.
Yeah, just for a moment. Deposit some cash, 20,000 shillings into the MP's. Sounds like a constituency fund account. And while the cars stopped...
That's when the shadow appears. You can literally see someone trailing the car on the footage after that stop.
And we know now that was Omar Shakur, the main suspect. He pops up right then near the car, and then he's joined by a second guy.
And from that point, they're actively stalking the MP's vehicle. Not just chance. This is a pursuit.
Their road is pretty clear on the cameras, right? Warburg Street, then Kenyatta Avenue.
Down Valley Road, heading towards Dayar University.
And then they reach the Kenyatta National Hospital roundabout. That's where it happened.
5 shots, fired directly into the car. Charles Weir was killed instantly.
And the way Shakur did it, he came up from the left side of the car, aimed straight for that front left seat.
It just hammers home that point again. He knew exactly where the MP was sitting. No guesswork involved.
Which brings us to the bodyguard. This is, well, it's really troubling.
Really is.
This guy's trained. He's armed. His job is to protect the MP. But all reports say he didn't fire his weapon, didn't try to give cover, didn't engage the shooter at all.
Nothing.
Why? I mean, you have to ask why. What possibly explains that complete inaction during a fatal attack?
That's a huge question hanging over this. Was he compromised somehow? Maybe just frozen by the shock? Or is it something darker? Was he complicit?
It really shakes your faith in security details, doesn't it?
That certainly raises serious concerns. Okay, so the shooting happens. Shakur needs to get away.
Right. He jumps on a waiting motorbike and just disappears into the CBD traffic. You'd think, okay, chaotic city center, maybe he gets lost in the crowd.
But this isn't the old days. Nairobi's wired now.
Exactly. So maybe the cameras right at the roundabout were offline that night. That's what some reports say.
But the wider network, facial recognition, motion tracking.
Yeah.
That was all working.
So even as that motorbike is weaving through traffic past the SHA building junction, Regati Road, Haile Selassie Avenue, the system is watching. It's logging his movements.
Building that digital breadcrumb trail.
And the escape plan had another stage. Get this. At the expressway roundabout on Haile Selassie, there's a white car waiting.
Ah, the getaway vehicle.
Yeah. But only Shakur gets in. The motorbike rider is left behind. He just abandons the bike there.
Interesting. So a coordinated handoff.
Yeah.
Different assets for different phases.
Yeah.
Very organized.
And they probably thought they were clear in the white tar, but nope. Cameras again. Moy Avenue near Zuri Restaurant. Then the Naiva supermarket cameras. Another one near the Jubilee Party building on Ticker Road.
They're just pinging from camera to camera.
Pretty much. Last sighting, Safari Park Hotel out near TRM Mall.
It just shows you how pervasive this surveillance tech is becoming in cities. Hard to truly vanish.
And then the AI kicks in, facial recognition. It connects Omar Shakur to, well, a regular night out.
At a club in Roy Sambu, right? He was apparently there often in the evenings.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing how the tech links these completely separate things, a murder suspect and his routine at a local club.
That's the power of data analysis, I suppose. Finding patterns.
And that pattern gave the DCI, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, their chance. They set up a sting.
Undercover officers.
Yep. Sunday evening, officers inside the club, officers outside, and bang on time, 3:45 p.m., in walks Omar Shakur, ready to watch the football, Man United versus Brentford, apparently.
Wow. So his routine became his downfall.
Pretty much. DCI grabbed him before he even got comfortable.
It's incredible, isn't it? You carry out this huge violent act, and then you just go back to watching football at your usual spot. Human nature, I guess. Hard to break habits completely.
But Shakur wasn't the end of it. He started talking.
Led the DCI deeper?
Yeah, took them to Dandora Eastlands, and they picked up 2 more guys, Douglas Murawamugu and David Migo Kagame.
Okay, so the network starts expanding.
And then, this is where it gets really disturbing. Those arrests lead investigators to Ali Jumahekal.
And he's a serving police officer. Administration police.
That's right, a serving AP officer. They searched his place, found a firearm, quite a bit of cash too.
Wow. Okay, that changes things significantly. An insider. Someone from within law enforcement possibly involved.
It's a massive breach of trust, if true, the very people meant to protect.
It adds a whole new, deeply troubling layer to the case.
And it didn't stop there. The investigation started pointing towards extremist links.
The Mujahedin network.
That's what the connections suggested. So now it's not just a political hit. It's potentially organized crime mixed with radical extremism.
That escalates the whole situation dramatically. The implications are huge.
Just when you think it can't get any stranger, there's the Facebook incident.
Ah, yes, the blunder.
Yeah.
This part is almost hard to believe.
Right. So Omar Shakur gets arrested on May 4th. He's in custody.
Locked up.
But then, 3 days later, May 7th, 2 o'clock in the morning, someone logs into his Facebook account and makes a post.
After he's already been arrested.
Yep.
It's like something out of a bad spy movie. The DCI later figured out it was this guy, Edwin Oder Odembo, who also went by Abdul Rashid.
Using the Facebook of a guy already caught? That's...
Yeah.
Well, it's sloppy, isn't it? A critical error.
A massive error. And that single post, that digital fingerprint, gave the DCI their next big lead.
So they tracked him down through that Facebook activity.
Exactly. They found Edwin Oder Odembo and another associate, Dennis C. Munyasi.
And what did they find when they searched Edwin's place?
More weapons. 2 loaded pistols, a Ray Falcon and a Sassel Maz, plus ammo, 9 rounds of 9mm, and more digital evidence linking them all together.
So that mistake really opened up another part of the network.
It really did. So let's just step back and look at the whole picture now. It starts as what looks like a targeted political assassination.
The murder of an MP.
But then it just keeps unfolding. Potential insider info, maybe involving that bodyguard's inaction.
To the sophisticated planning, the escape.
Then links to organized crime figures. And then possibly even this extremist connection, the Mujahedin angle. It's become this complex web.
And pulling the threads, partly this amazing surveillance tech covering Nairobi, and partly this unbelievable slip-up on Facebook.
Yeah, it's quite a combination. You've got meticulous planning, maybe betrayal, the bodyguard's failure.
Yeah.
All countered by high-tech tracking.
And then human error just blows it open again.
It's fascinating. The sheer capability of the city's surveillance network is undeniable. Tracking the car, the bike, identifying suspects through facial recognition.
Right.
But then alongside that, you have these very human elements, betrayal, maybe fear, inaction, and then this incredible, almost careless mistake on social media that helps unravel it further.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about this balance. We have all this powerful technology designed for security investigation. But ultimately, human actions, both the calculated violence and the simple unexpected errors, are still such critical factors in how these complex crimes get solved or exposed. What does that really tell us about security, technology, and just the unpredictable ways the truth can surface?